To people that you're live.
Ah, yes, people. What's going on, man? Younes pointed out a mistake that I made when I posted the live. I've got it for going live in about 55 minutes. I don't know what I was
Wrong
thinking
time,
there.
G.
Yeah, wrong time, wrong time. But you know what? Just let the people know that we are live, innit? Like, just share the thing, let people know we're live now. Guni made a mistake. But to those that are here, thank you very much for joining in. You get me? And to those that joined in yesterday, really appreciate it. The live went completely left yesterday. We were supposed to talk about the topics we're going to discuss now, me and Younes, but me and Lee Gunner, we got completely carried away into like the whole 90s nostalgia and all that. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is.
You man went on the trip.
Yeah, we did. We went on a trip to memory lane. We touched on it. What's that Channel 4 show where it showed the Italian
Football
football?
Italia.
Yeah, Football
Yeah,
Italia.
man.
That's the one we was talking about, the days of when like Crespo and Veron and them guys were at
Oh
Parma.
my god.
Yeah, man. Just discussing like how a lot of these players that we're calling world class now would struggle to even get onto the bench for some of these teams. Do you know what I mean? That's what the standard. Well, at least to me, that's what the
I
standard
agree.
was back then. It was
Yeah.
just, it was ridiculous. But big up to everyone in the chat. I see you. But yeah, Younes, how are you getting on, man? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Obviously, football's dead now, isn't it? For 2 weeks, all we've got is AFCON to watch, and then when that finishes, with actually no, I'll tell a lie. Football will be back by the time that finishes, so at least we got something. But yeah, it's I'm good overall. Clean shaven for the first time in over a
Yes.
year.
Yes.
I feel like a kid. I feel like a child, bruv.
Yeah, man. What have you got? You got to go back to class in about 30 minutes, innit?
Yeah, man. I got
GCSE
maths.
revision.
I got maths at 2. I got English at 3, innit?
Man. But do you know what? There's actually something to smile about for the first time in a while. We have done the treble on Spurs in 2 weeks.
We've done the quadruple on them, bruv.
In 2 weeks.
2.5.
Well, yeah, we've done the quadruple in them. It sounds better anyway. I'll take
4
that.
games.
Do you know what I mean? But business as usual, so it seems. They've only beat us in now 1 in 38 attempts.
Yep. 1 in 38. Nah.
That they've won. They've actually got a W against us. Yep.
Is that all competitions?
I'm not too sure. I don't know if it's the Prem or competitions, because the last time they beat us was when Conte was manager. You remember? That's the last time they beat us, and even then, we was.
Did they beat us?
Yeah, they did. That was the last time that they beat us under Antonio Conte. Because
okay.
And then we were saying around that time.
It must be the Prem then. No, it must be the Prem.
I think it is the Prem.
Because they beat us in the League Cup in 2008. That wasn't 38 matches ago.
but I'm saying, like, out of 38 games played, they've only won once. They've only got one W. Yeah, but like, it's got to be, bro. Someone in the chat might know. Yeah, someone in the chat might know. I'm sure someone will post it if they know. Maybe I'm getting my wires crossed. But yeah, you see, look, this brother's. Yeah, it's the Ericsson screamer. You don't remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the only.
That's come back to me.
Yeah, that's the only time they beat us in 38 games. I just remember being absolutely. Yeah, you see, we got a pattern that game. Dele Alli was killing us.
That was the one.
With them back post
the 2
runs,
headers,
late runs. Yeah, that's when Spurs were lethal, because that dynamic between Christian Eriksen and Dele Alli, it was just mad. Because like, when they got rid of Eriksen, I just think Tottenham
they did. They haven't replaced him since. They haven't got someone in that's creative enough in behind the strikers or whoever alongside any other midfielder. Dele Alli's just disappeared. It's like he's just stopped playing football. I don't know,
Yeah, I think he just. You know what? I think it's a situation that me and Gunnar were talking about. It's a situation where, like, some players, when they get too much too soon, they lose their ambition too early. I feel that's what's happened with Dele Alli, because like, listen, we're Chelsea fans, but we're also football fans, and we can judge things fairly. Dele Alli was on a track where you could say, yeah, he's going to be a special player if he continues on this development curve. But then, like, obviously, the complaints came in, the work rate, the attitude, off the field antics, and then that just began to, he just faded away. But that's the
lazy in training apparently as well. You remember the Amazon documentary with Jose, and then bringing him into the office and trying to get some wake up call going. Like you have everything. You're flipping lazy, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
The problem with you is you.
Exactly.
He hasn't learned, and I don't think he will. I think he's done.
And at this point as well, at the age he's at, he's wasted a lot of time.
He has.
Yeah. So his value is just dipped, and being at Tottenham doesn't help either. So in a few years, who knows where he's going to
off to Newcastle he goes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But this is the thing. Like, he might you never know. He might revive himself over there.
He could.
Who knows, man? But let's talk a little bit about the game. I was pleasant. I was just really like, I knew, because I said to you before, and I said to Lee Gunner that we won't lose to Spurs. I just had a feeling, regardless of how bad we are, I don't think we're going to lose to Spurs. And from like the off, for me, I felt Mason Mount set the pace of the game immediately, because as soon as that kid picked up the ball, he was just on it. The flair was back. He isolated Sanchez on that wing and had him moving like Bambi. That's where he played that early opportunity to Lukaku, who for some reason tried to take it on his weaker right foot when Mace is playing it from the right channel. Bro, as a world-class striker, how do you not know to use your left foot? How do you not know to use your left foot from that angle? If it's coming from the other side, okay, but come on.
No, even in the space that he had in that chance, there wasn't anyone around him. With that space, you should be hitting it on target. Even with his weaker foot, he cost 100 million. He should be able to. But so early on in the game, with that chance, even on the watch along, I was ready to let it slide. I was ready to just go, okay, you know what? Yeah, okay, it's fine. He's hit that over the bar. All right, we go again. I think that was the only really big chance he had, except for the other one in like minute 80 or something. But yeah, you're right. Mason Mount did set the pace quite well.
Yeah, I got caught with a comment there, but you know what? I'm a banter guy, but see you later. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It is what it is. We can take that banter over here at Mando's Football, but you get me? There's one time and one time only he got himself up out of here. You get me? But yeah, honestly, like Mace, he set pace. Lukaku as well, boy. We'll come on to Lukaku in a bit, because I think there's a hell of a lot more positives that deserve to be spoken about before we get onto him. Who else had a good performance that night? I thought Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. Ziyech, obviously. Oh my days! Let's get
Ziyech was 10 out of 10.
Man. Yeah, we got to get onto the main man, Hakim Ziyech. Now, is that down to him playing on the right wing in the 4-3-3, where he was at his best at Ajax? Surprise, surprise.
Which is what Thomas Tuchel said. On the fifth stand up he did anyway, so I don't know if anyone's seen that, but yeah, I think so. And I think even his attitude was a bit different against Brighton. He wasn't really good. He got the goal though, and we didn't see the celebration. We saw him getting into verbals with Rom and all of that. In this game, from minute one, he was just electric. And yeah, him being in that role helps him, because that's where he's at home. That's where he feels he's at his best. That is his natural position. Especially when he's able to cut in, or he's able to drift, and he's able to be direct and take on players. That's his main number one position. So yeah, man, I think so. I think it is down to that, but it's also down to the fact that players around him, especially with Mason and him were combining very, very well together. He was enabling him to get that space. Mason was assisting him to get that space, and that helps Ziyech. When you give Ziyech room and he's not under pressure, he performs. Then he scores that wonder goal from. Just disclaimer, and you've probably seen my review. I've been waiting for him to score that goal. Yeah. I've been waiting since last year for him to score that goal. Okay, that on the right hand side, cuts in with his left, takes a little look, bends it into the far top corner. I've done it on FIFA 21 with him, and I was like, I can't wait till he does it in real life. And it happened. It happened. Yeah. So I've been waiting for that one. He does that, and you could just see his confidence just explodes at that point. All of a sudden, he's comfortable. He's got probably goal of the month, one of the contenders for goal of the season. You could just see at that point, he was just calm, no pressure. I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna have fun, and no one's gonna touch me. And that's how Ziyech performs at his best, is when he hasn't got pressure. So, yeah, multiple factors, but him being in that position does help for sure.
Yeah, and the thing is like I'm not too surprised at this form that we're seeing from Ziyech, because we're seeing it coming. Because you know what, you see when Ziyech didn't celebrate the goal the other day,
Yeah,
I said, okay, we need to keep Ziyech angry still. We got to keep him upset. And he came into the game, same sort of face. I wasn't too sure about his attitude, but this guy was just on it, bro. Even down to the deliveries, which we've been complaining so much about, they was just
yeah,
quality, everything about it. And you can see he's just wanting to shoot now. He's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a chance every single, like, any opportunity that he's getting. In his mind, he's looking at the other attackers and he's thinking, if no one else is gonna do it, I might as well give it a
might
go.
as well. Yeah,
But that shot that he took, the build up beforehand was quality to begin with. Mace, what was it? Callum
Callum.
Hudson-Odoi. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Lovely bit of play. He was key in that game, man. Listen, Callum, we're gonna come on to him afterwards, but the way Ziyech hit that ball, yeah, because it looked like it was going over and it looked like it was going wide. And the way it just dipped into that corner, and Lloris was just standing there, just looking at it like he was just in an art museum, just admiring a piece, just looking at it, going top corner.
He probably thought it was going over, because I think we all did, didn't it? Like, he didn't put much power on it. If you look at, he didn't have a run up. He literally took it on his left foot, one step, and hit it. One step, or maybe two tops, but one. Just, there wasn't a run up for him to get so much power on it. But the amount of height it took, I think we all thought, yeah, this is gone, and then it just comes back down, and it hits like the top corner. Do you know what I mean? Like, not top corner, not top bins. This is like top bins. You can't get more top bins than that.
Yeah.
If you're going to get more, it's going to hit the woodwork. That's how perfect it was. So no keeper in the world was going to save that. No one.
And then, yeah, and it's like you said, and then after that, not long after that, he had another opportunity outside the box. I think it did take a deflection though, but he absolutely battered it. And Lloris made a really good save, because that was moving at pace and it was swerving nasty as well. But like that to me was just like, yeah, his confidence is back. But you know, for me, what I would like to see now is that we start this transition and stay consistent with this 4-3-3, because to me, it looks like at least we're getting a bit more out of our attackers. Mason Mount in his natural position was just absolutely thriving. I thought he was part of the reason as well as to why Hakim Ziyech was so good, supporting him out there out wide, so he's not isolated. Because you could see that Tottenham were going there, they were sticking out their wing backs and trying to stifle us from the wings and keep us pinned back. But the fact that Mace was there and available as an option, creating spaces for Hakim Ziyech and other players to overlap, it was just perfect. Even him just occupying the spaces, isolating their defenders and just getting past them, putting crosses into the box and that. It was just really good to see, man. And that just goes to show, it's back to what we were saying about youth players, bro. Consistency, you can't always expect it from them. They can have about 3 or 4 games when they're on the slump. You give them a couple of days break. Maybe the week break helped him. You give him a couple of days off to get his head together. Come into a derby game like this, they're hitting the ground running like him. The other youth player we've got to discuss is Callum Hudson-Odoi, bro. We definitely got to discuss him. Aside from his decision making in the box and his finishing in the box, which sometimes more so the finishing, which can be frustrating. The way he terrorized Tanganga that game again, it was beautiful to see.
Second half, especially, I want to point that out, because I felt like in the first half when I was watching, he was struggling to find it direct. So he kept going backwards. And I'm like, okay, you're going to have to do something here, bro. He comes out second half. It's like you've turned the switch on and Tanganga can't keep up. All of a sudden, he's finding that space. He's running into that space. He's taking Tanganga on. He's leaving him in the dust.
Yeah.
He's getting booked and whatnot. And then the goal, the assist, the second half was how we expect Hudson-Odoi to play on a consistent basis. So this is the thing, like, as good as it was, because that is what we want to see. Now it's about keeping that up. Because
Mhm.
what I do want to stress is Tottenham were poor.
They were
Tottenham were
definitely. They
poor.
were. They
Like
were.
they couldn't advance with the ball when they tried to. They didn't have a plan. Tactically, there was no plan. Again, this is what I said in the preview. I didn't think Tottenham really had the minerals. Yes,
Mhm.
they've got good individuals, can make a difference, but do they have the minerals? No. Conte's got a lot of work to do. So we can't get carried away. I do want to say that in terms of going forward, but it's a positive sign. That
Yeah.
is the level of performance that we've got to see from Hudson-Odoi, from Ziyech, from Mount consistently. You
Yeah.
can dip off once in a while. It's normal. It happens to everyone. But you got to get these 8 out of 10 performances, 9 out of 10 performance, or in Ziyech's case, 10 out of 10. But you got to stay around that 8 mark consistently. So
Yes. Yeah.
hopefully Callum can do that. If he plays like how he did in that second half against Tottenham, no problem. He walks into this team.
Yeah, I like this comment here actually. Big up Emmanuel. We can't play 4-3-3 to win against some teams. We played 3 at the back and won the Champions League. Guy, it's Tottenham. Don't get carried away. Well, to be fair, I think like I didn't really do my best explaining myself. What I meant was like in terms of consistency going forward, I don't mean completely abandon the back 3. Obviously, that would be
No.
foolish. You have to. There's some teams that you have
Without
to.
wing backs,
Yeah,
we've
that's
got to
what I
stick with
mean.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's some teams in the Premier League that we've got to respect, and obviously our strongest has been in that back 5. As you said correctly, we won the Champions League there, and we won against the quote unquote title challenges with that formation as well. So obviously,
Yep.
but what I'm saying is, in terms of that 4-3-3, is don't completely abandon it and use it sporadically. Have some consistency where we can afford to use that formation and get used to it and get our players used to it. Because because from performances like this, we can improve. You see what I'm saying? But for like the bigger games, yes, I agree. We go back to that back 5 obviously, and we also have to bear in mind tactically as well what fits against another big team, because it might be a case where a back 4 might be the better tactic to use against one of these decent teams. You never know against what you're coming up against. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely that from Hudson-Odoi. First half is like you were saying with him, it was a lot of backwards play. He wasn't really attacking his man, but something must have been said to him at halftime. Tuchel must have said to him, listen, Callum, just be more direct. Don't be afraid to beat your man. Do you know what I mean? Malang Sarr, you can trust him. He's doing a decent job. There's another comment here from the Shed End podcast. Sarr at left back for a player that looked like he was on his way out on loan. Yeah, Malang Sarr is just he's doing a solid job week in, week out. He is. And he's just taking, and you know what I like about this guy? He's young and he's just taking each game as it comes in front of him and just showing why he deserves to stay and at least be an option at the club. And I feel that's also part of why probably Callum thought, you know what? Sar's having a decent game. He's solid. I can trust him behind me. I don't have to be too like if I got Marcus Alonso behind me or someone who's not as mobile. Like I don't have to keep tracking back. But yeah, definitely you saw that from Callum in the second half, and then obviously he wins the foul for Mason Mount to deliver the
For the
free
second
kick
goal. Yep.
to the player who scored it, who I think if it weren't for his Ziyech masterclass for me would have been man of the match, Thiago Silva. But we've got to talk about that delivery from Mason Mount. It was absolutely spot on. Absolutely.
Mason with his deliveries, you don't need to worry. You don't need to
Yeah.
worry. Yeah, in terms of his dead ball situations, he's one of the best. So yeah, in terms of that goal, you're right. Thiago Silva was fantastic. Even the whole performance, he was class. Overall, it just seemed like the players that needed to step up stepped up.
Yeah.
That was the most important thing. And with Sarr at left back, I do want to say it could be bittersweet.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's playing really well, and we're all impressed. And he saved his Chelsea career. Let's have it right, because he was at one point we were talking about Sarr like he was just he was just a money deal. He was in the club for cheap, gonna leave for more, and that's it. And he wasn't gonna play. Now he's a left back solution, but that's I think gonna stop the club from actually going and getting a left back, which is actually what we need.
Honestly, I'm still very much on the fence about it, bro. If it means missing out on a stopgap signing, which I am completely for,
Exactly.
then
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
But like, I need to know, like, obviously it's not within the board. The board don't have to tell us, but like, if there's some rumors that we're going out there for like one of the top left wing backs or left backs out there,
Yeah.
then I'm not gonna complain. It's just in context. Like January, I see a lot of people panicking. We need to sign someone. We need to. Do we really? Do we really need to sign a stopgap for now? Who's just gonna?
Not a stopgap. Not a stopgap. I agree.
Because look, if we sign Dina, for example, yeah,
Yeah.
he's what, 29 years old, is he?
Yes. 28, 29. Yeah.
Right. How many years of top level does he have?
Not long. Not too long. And even in terms of the level, compared to the price, it's not worth it.
This is what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
in a couple of years, and knowing Chelsea Football Club with the wages that they'll give this man, do you think it's going to be easy to get rid of him when we're tired of him?
Absolutely. Exactly. That's the problem.
That's the other side of the coin that I want to avoid. Do you know what I mean? So I don't. Oh well, yeah. Big up Miz. That's the name of his show, innit? The other side of the coin. But yeah, but I'm happy with that overall performance. Thiago Silva as well. We've got to give a big mention to him before we move on to some of the VAR decisions that we saw over the weekend.
Yeah.
But Thiago Silva, there's a few things that I want to address. The man got a yellow card early, first of all, and he played the rest of the game like there wasn't even a yellow card on his name. He is such a class centre back. The way he walked that line, and obviously I'm going to start off with the massive elephant in the room, which was what happened between him and Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I'm going to be completely honest. I've already said it on one of my streams, Younes.
Go on.
Thiago Silva definitely made a meal of it, 1000%. But that's shithousery that I appreciate, because listen, big up Miz again on the other side of that coin, yeah? If that's an attacker, we're used to seeing that and saying it happens. Now put yourself in Thiago Silva's shoes, yeah? He's been a centre back for how many years in his career? His entire career. How many years has he been playing football? Over 20 years. How many decisions has gone against him when he's made the righteous tackle in the box, but yet the ref has awarded a penalty? The one time he wants to do it against Spurs, everyone wants to lose their mind.
With Thiago Silva, yeah, especially that challenge. Let's talk about that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a foul. And I think it's a foul not on the basis of Thiago Silva making a meal out of it, because at the end of the day, I mean, even so, when you look back at it, Harry Kane pushes him. Now, how soft that is, he's put his hand on his back and pushed him with the advantage of getting the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Now watch this, yeah. And this is what else I was gonna say. Is if you're gonna do that in the box and you give the ref a decision to make, because that's what I also said in my post match. I said Harry Kane gave the ref a decision to make by even making that motion, regardless of the level of contact on the touch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also feel that Thiago used his experience there to capitalize from it. That's my honest opinion. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of you are gonna massively disagree with me, and I don't care. I'm just speaking my opinion, but am I going against it? I couldn't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a thing where Harry Kane, as soon as he put up his hands to move to attempt to move him, he gave the referee a decision to make. That's my honest opinion.
I think it was definitely either one or two, because we got to appreciate just how sometimes things can look delicate, but in reality, you know, him falling to the ground, for example, it might have been enough force for him to fall to the ground. It might have. Now, on the other side of the coin, again, you know, it could have been him feeling something on his back and making a meal out of it. It could have been. I don't think that's something we'll ever know. But with that comment, the fact that the pace of the game, the way that they're moving, especially if they're not static. Thiago Silva wasn't static. They're moving. He gets one push on the back. Even if it's soft, it could be enough to wreck his balance. And he falls flat on his face.
That's also, that's
possible. It's possible. So whether that's the case or whether he's used his experience, felt his back and gone to the ground, I think at the end of the day, Harry Kane has pushed him. So if he hadn't used his hand, if he used his body, that's a different story because you're allowed to do that. But if he's used his hand like he did and made the motion to push him away to create the space, it's a foul.
Yeah, facts, and a lot of people in the chat are agreeing with you. I mean, listen, I don't disagree. I don't disagree, and I could be completely wrong. That was just my general take on it. But either way, if it was a shit house, it's a world-class shit house. If it ain't a shit house, I put my hands up and say my bad, innit? Either
That's
way,
the thing. We'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Only Thiago Silva knows.
Either way, bro. Like, you get me. we won the game. We got the result, bruv. But either way, man, you get. I'm saying either way like 1,000 times. But I'm just gassed. You get me. I'm gassed. I'm happy with the result. But that's not the only decision that went to VAR that fans and others found controversial, because there were a couple this weekend. And we're gonna start off with Cavani's quote unquote offside against West Ham. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that, was it clear cut?
Mate, so I was watching the game, and as soon as it happened, I said, that looks offside. So basically, Cavani's received the ball out wide in an offside position, right?
Okay.
And he's squared it to Marcus Rashford, who's put it in at the far post. But they didn't even check it on VAR. The defenders, everyone's contesting it. I'm looking like they've got to pull this back. But in my head, I'm thinking it's Old Trafford. The pressure's on 1,000 here. They might not pull it back. They didn't pull it back. And then on second look, in fact, Lee Gunner on the live yesterday, he put up a clip where Rance had taken like a ruler and put it next to Cavani's shoulder and his knee, and he was offside. He was completely offside.
Was he?
Yeah,
I've got it here. Like I've got managed to get it in front of me. And the shot that they've managed to take, just as was it Rashford?
Rashford wasn't offside.
Making the pass. No. Who
it was Cavani. Cavani made the pass. Cavani squared it to Rashford.
Oh, not the other way around. I thought Cavani was the one who was offside.
Yeah, Cavani was off because Cavani received the ball in an offside position, but it was Rashford that finished the goal. So Cavani received it on the left. Yeah, but he was offside. He was offside, but he squared it to Rashford, and Rashford scored on the back post.
Yeah, so so I've got the right thing up. So the frame that I've got, which they're showing here, is that it was on. At the time that Cavani, it wasn't Rashford. Whoever passed the ball to Cavani, at the time that ball was released,
he was
the only thing that was, he was still on. So the only thing that was beyond the defender was his arm, which according to the rule is
it's not part of the play. Obviously, it can't be involved in the goal scoring action or even in the play. So obviously they won't count that. But I mean, from the angle that I saw, and obviously, like I said, Gunner put it up in here. He looked mad offside. But the point is that they didn't even call it back to check. I think
they not?
At least, no, they didn't. I think it should have at least been checked. It should have at least been checked.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then obviously there's a challenge in our game. Now, even this one, quite a few people were saying a red card might have been harsh, but Doherty's stamp, well, it wasn't quite a stamp, but I think it was just it was a bit of late because the momentum of him when he's running, he stepped on Sarr's leg, which looked quite dangerous on the replay, and he didn't even get a yellow card for it. Now, what are your thoughts on that? Do you reckon that should have been a red? Because I ain't gonna lie to you. Initially, when I saw it, I thought that was a red, in my opinion. If you're going by rule by like word by word in the rule book, it's above the ankle. It's dangerous play, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's a key thing. If it's above the ankle, it studs. So it's a red. Initially, I thought of it's a red. What's crazy is since that we've had 2 other challenges this weekend, and both of them were at the AFCON, and it was basically identical, pretty much or near enough identical. So we had a weekend where there's been 3 issues of the same challenge,
Mhm.
and they all interpreted differently. It's crazy. This rule needs to be clarified properly. You know, above the ankle, studs, no ball, no matter the circumstance, or you're going to take circumstance into factor. Because I think that game with Chelsea, Doherty, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, he's got to be sent off. Now,
Mhm.
my issue is not necessarily, okay, was it a red? Was it not? It didn't even get checked. That's my issue. My issue was that nothing was given, not even a free kick. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. Not even a free kick. If it was looked at, free kick, yellow card, personally, I'd be like, no, it should have been a red, but I'd be like, okay, we move on. It wasn't even looked at, brother. Not even a foul was given. That's crazy. And then a minute later, I think one little foul in the middle of the pitch, and I forgot who it was on our team who got a book, who got a yellow card immediately. And I'm like, well, where's the consistency? It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So yeah, personally, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, it's got to be a red.
Well, yeah, that's how I felt. That's what I came away from it with, and I thought it was disgraceful that not even anything was given for it. But at the same time, I wasn't surprised. But listen, I'm bringing up all these scenarios to make a clearer point. Another one in the Arsenal game, Westwood stamped on Kieran Tierney in a similar fashion, but his one looked
Oh,
more intentional than what Doherty's was, from what I saw anyway.
yeah. And
But he didn't get sent off.
this is another thing that needs to be clarified. Are we counting intention or not? Because I think that's where it goes grey. That's where there's a
Yeah,
big grey area. Is many people interpret it as no, don't care. There shouldn't be any flipping intentional, no intention. If the action is committed, it's committed. It's a red, done. And there's some people that go, no, we need to take into factor that was it intentional? Was there any real malice in it, or was it a challenge that was just late? We need to clarify it, and this needs to be put on paper, and this needs to be adhered to by everyone. Simple. Are we taking intention into it or not? There's massive inconsistencies with that sort of thing, and even with VAR, it's not even a case of using the tech as it is. The problem is who is using the tech. The tech isn't the problem. It's the person in the box who's making these decisions. That's the problem. It's so inconsistent. It's so inconsistent.
yeah, exactly. And someone else made a very good point here. You can't prove intention a lot of times. Court of law struggle with that themselves, which is true. Which is true. It's impossible because, like, you have to prove on what concrete facts. Do you know what I mean? You can't just go on a hunch or an assumption.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, even there's more examples. But I say, listen, I bring up these points to say this. Yeah, is there a blatant inconsistency in the way VAR is used, and is it ruining the game? Do you think so?
Yes, I do. I think with the way that VAR is used, I think VAR is a good tool.
Yeah,
Just as a tool, I think it can solve a lot of problems. And I think we've seen examples of that where there have been, offsides. There have been all sorts of challenges that the ref hasn't spotted, goes to VAR, checks, and it is actually a red. It's just the way that it was interpreted at the time was a bad angle, or he didn't get a clear eye on it, or whatever. So it can be used for good. But too many times in this country, I want to point out in this country, I don't see too many errors happening across Europe. But in this country, it's just ridiculous. The referees are the issue in this country. It's not even VAR as a tool. I think that's great. And I think, it can do a lot of good, as I've already said. But the people running it, people making decisions are just way off sometimes. It's stupid. And I think there needs to be some sort of attention given to the grassroots, not just in terms of football players, but for referees as well. We need to start looking in terms of young and upcoming refs that are adhered to the modern game, that understand and don't have biases, and we're seeing Mike Dean, for example, come onto a pitch, and he's going to make it about himself.
yeah,
It's just it's the Mike Dean show at that point, and he knows that. He's got an ego. He knows that. You can't have that. You can't have that. The referee's got to be impartial, needs to be fair at all times, no matter who's playing, what sort of stature is on the pitch, or if they're two little teams. It has to adhere to the standard. And in this country, it's not good enough.
Yeah, Diogo Jota as well. There was a penalty that was controversial. There's just too many of these decisions are just being incorrectly made, in my opinion. But again, it shouldn't listen. The rules should be clear cut. There shouldn't be a gray area and stuff like this because it just ruins
Yeah.
the game. It's already slowing down the game. Do you know what I mean? It's already slowing down the game, and we've just got to. I don't know, man. I don't know. VAR can be a great thing, but at the same time, it can sway important decisions.
The thing with VAR, the one bad thing that VAR brings is that you start going into too much detail. And sometimes you got to just let things pan out naturally, like the way it was. It's one of those things. When VAR was first brought about, all of a sudden we're starting to look at details and things that we wouldn't have even looked at in the past. That have all of a sudden changed the mind, made a different decision, and then you go with a different flow. Especially the whole thing about looking at things in slow motion and not taking into context the natural movement at the time. VAR. This goes, I think, for just things digitally as a whole. Sometimes it can swerve into a really bad direction in terms of consistency. So I mean, sometimes we just got to let things plan out naturally. But at the end of the day, I think if the tool is used correctly with some consistency, we wouldn't be having as many problems as we do.
No, facts. Younes, I can see that I've kept you slightly over time, so we're gonna have to call this live to an end.
I didn't even clock.
Yeah, but we will definitely be coming to an end. We'll definitely be meeting up again today, I believe, on Lee Gunner's channel. We were supposed to be live now, but I think Lee had other plans, so we might be going live later on his channel. If you're not subscribed to Lee Gunner, make sure you do subscribe to him. Younes, what do you have coming up on your channel?
So I think for the rest of January, it's going to be a case of looking at the transfers and seeing what's popping. As well as that, daily recap of the Africa Cup of Nations, as I always do throughout this tournament. Like today, a double header for the last 16. Then we start looking at the quarterfinals, semi, and then the final. And by the time that's about to finish and we see the final, that's where Premier League football returns. So it's a nice flow in terms of transfers, AFCON, and back to club football again. So yeah.
No, absolutely. Hopefully this couple of weeks will be a decent, lift for our team. Hopefully no more cases of that horrid virus. Any niggles, people can shake it off, come back to training, feel sharp, ready for the Champions League. Because listen, December, January, we had some sticky times, but the period that we're about to come in, we can look at it as a fresh start. There's still a lot to play for this season. It's not all doom and gloom for Chelsea. We still got the Club World Cup. We're still in the Champions League. We're still in the FA Cup. We're in the final of the League Cup. So there's 4 things that we have to play for. Whereas you've got them man in North London who are out of absolutely everything by January, and they're giving their manager a new contract. Make it make sense.
Outrageous, man. And then Watford are sacking Ranieri after 13 games. Mad.
Yeah. All right, listen. Before we go, I've got to say this about Watford. They don't deserve anything nice. After doing that to Ranieri, they just don't. They deserve. If they get relegated, I won't be upset. You've given Ranieri 3 months. Do you know what this man has done in football? And you're trying to give this guy 3 months and say he's the problem.
What's mad is because I agree with that completely, but I can also see it from Watford's perspective because I think 13 matches, 10 losses.
Oh, that is bad.
I think that's going to make anyone go, we might have to change again, guys.
But listen, all right, cool. You might, okay, cool. Considering that circumstance, all right. But do you then replace him with Roy Hodgson?
No, but well, exactly. This is the thing. I think that was going to happen to Watford anyway. I think their resources and what they have and the team they've got is just not good enough. So you're going to have to go through those losses because you can't get anything better right now. So I would have rode it with Ranieri up until the end of the season. And if they get relegated, they come back the next season because I think that's where it's heading. Watford are going to need a miracle to survive at this rate. So
they're going to need Big Sam.
Well, there you are. If you're going to hire someone, go and get Big Sam. Why do they get Roy? Or Roy, as he says.
Croydon Roy. What a geezer. How that man got the, first of all, A, how he got the England job, and B, stayed in it as long as he
I'll
did,
never know.
is
I'll
one of the
never know.
biggest questions in football. Big up JJ Bridge. We are in every competition still, but no signings. Shake my head. Again, context. If we're talking about signing stopgaps in January, I'm not with it. If we're talking about signing proper solutions in summer, then I'm with it.
But this is the thing, yeah. We've heard the problem is we've heard nothing. Normally we hear rumors. Normally we hear links. There's been nothing. It's like you'd like to hear that we've been linked with someone decent or a decent name or a top prospect or someone we look at and go, "Oh, you know what? He might actually be a good option." There's been nothing, no activity, and that's the problem. I'm worried. There's been no activity.
And this is another problem. Big up Joseph here. Very good comment. I'm sorry, Newcastle is trying to get Gosens, and we are not in for him.
But they see that we have no excuse. So
yeah,
this is my problem.
Absolutely.
What are we doing?
If a player like that is available in January, because the reason why I didn't bring up his name, because I would think like Atlanta wouldn't want to let him go in January.
Same here. Yeah.
But like if he's actually available in January, then this is a name that I wouldn't mind us seeing trying to get over the line, because he's a quality player. Again, multifaceted, can play on the right, can play on the left, has done it. Do you know what I mean? So, boy, if he ends up going to Newcastle, that would be a shame, and the board have to look at themselves there. Unless, like I said, unless there is a solution in the summer that is better than Gerson's. And if that's the case, then
Alphonso Davies at that point. Like, who else?
Yeah, but Alphonso Davies, and hopefully he gets a speedy recovery. He's had issues with his heart. Do you know what I mean? So
myocarditis.
Yeah, I'm not obviously. I don't think we was ever in for him. He just cost a ridiculous amount of money that I don't think Chelsea would be paying.
It'll be worth it, but you're right.
Inter are getting Gersons. Oh man,
they got that Lukaku money, bruv. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is they're like, here you go, Chelsea. We're showing you how to use it properly. You know what I mean? And we're gonna get more than one player for what you give us the money for.
Oh man!
All right,
outrageous.
Let me let you go, Younes. But people, smash up that like button. Thank you to everybody in the chat for joining. Love interacting with you guys. And whether we agree or disagree, man, that's what the platform's here for. We can't always agree with things. We'll always have our debates. So I appreciate everybody in there, man. Don't be afraid to go against the grain. It's healthy. You know what I mean? But make sure you do like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts down there in the comments as well. And don't be scared to check me on my mistakes as well. Hey, William Lundstrup was on smoke today. He was like, yo, Guni, you making a couple mistakes here. You see, over here, we're organic, bro. We don't hide, bro. We own our mistakes, and we appreciate that. You get me? So big up yourselves. Make sure you do follow Younes. All of his details are down there in the description. And make sure you are subscribed to Lee Gunner as well, so you can catch myself, Lee, Northside, and Younes live. Yes, 2 Arsenal fans versus 2 Chelsea fans. So it will be banter. New York City is back, people. I've left the window open and the police are whiling out their sirens. So, yeah. Let me leave you lot. Peace, man.